Youcat, question number 410. What is meant by fornication? Fornication originally meant pagan sexual practices, for instance, temple prostitution. Later, the term was applied to all forms of sexual activity outside of marriage. Today, in English, it generally refers to consensual sexual relations between an unmarried man and an unmarried woman. Fornication is often based on seduction, lies, violence, dependency, and abuse. Fornication is therefore a serious offense against charity. It harms the dignity of the person and fails to recognize the meaning of human sexuality. Civil authorities have the duty to protect minors, especially from fornication. Question number 411. Why is prostitution a form of fornication? In prostitution, love becomes a commodity and the person is degraded to an object of pleasure. That is why prostitution is a serious offense against human dignity and a serious sin against charity. Certainly, those who profit from prostitution, human traffickers, pimps, clients, burden themselves with greater guilt than the women, men, children, and young people who sell their bodies, often under duress or in situations of dependence. To form an equitable judgment about the subject's moral responsibility and to guide pastoral action, one must take into account the affective immaturity, force of acquired habit, conditions of anxiety, or other psychological or social factors that lessen, if not even reduce, to a minimum moral culpability. Question number 412. Why is the production and consumption of pornography a sin against charity? Someone who misuses love by detaching human sexuality from the intimacy of a committed, loving relationship between two spouses and turns it into commercial goods sins seriously. Anyone who produces, buys, or consumes pornographic materials violates human dignity and seduces others to sin. Pornography is a degenerate form of prostitution. Here too, there is the suggestion that man can get love for money. Models and actors, producers and distributors are equally involved in this serious offense against charity and human dignity. Anyone who consumes pornographic materials, visits pornographic websites, or participates in pornographic events finds himself or herself in the wider circle of prostitution and supports the dirty billion-dollar business of selling sex. Question number 413. Why is rape a serious sin? Someone who rapes another person thoroughly and completely debases that person. He violently breaks into the deepest intimacy of another and wounds the victim at the core of his ability to love. The rapist commits an outrage against the very nature of love. An essential part of sexual union is the fact that it is a gift that can only be given freely within the context of love. And so it is possible for rape to occur even within a marriage. The most despicable is rape within social, hierarchical, professional, or familial relationships of dependence, for instance, between parents and children, or between teachers and educators, pastors, and those who are entrusted to their protection. Question number 414. What does the church say about using condoms to fight AIDS? Apart from the fact that condoms provide no absolutely safe protection against contagion, the church rejects their use as one-sided mechanical method of fighting AIDS epidemics and advocates above all a new culture of human relationships and a change in social consciousness. Only practicing fidelity and refraining from casual sexual contacts can provide lasting protection from AIDS and teach a holistic approach to love. Respect for the equal dignity of women and men, concern about the health of the family, responsibility in dealing with one's urges and desires, and also refraining at appropriate times from sexual union are all part of it. In the countries of Africa, where social campaigns have promoted such behavior, the rates of infection have decreased significantly. Besides that, the church does all she can to help people who are afflicted with AIDS. Question number 415. What is the church's judgment on homosexuality? God created man as male and female and destined them for each other in bodily way as well. The church accepts without reservation those who experience homosexual feelings. Persons who experience homosexual feelings should not be unjustly discriminated against because of that. At the same time, the church declares that all homosexual relations in any form are contrary to the order of creation. C.S. Lewis would say, if anyone thinks that Christians regard unchastity as the supreme vice, he is quite wrong. The sins of the flesh are bad, but they are least bad of all sins. For there are two things inside me competing with the human self, which I must try to become. They are the animal self and the diabolical self. The diabolical self is the worst of the two. That is why a cold, self-righteous prig who goes regularly to church may be far nearer to hell than a prostitute. But of course, it is better to be neither. Pope Benedict XVI would say, fidelity within marriage and abstinence outside it are the best ways to avoid infection and to halt the spread of the virus. Indeed, the values that flow from an authentic understanding of marriage and family life constitute the only sure foundation for a stable society. God bless you all.